What if I tell you that in times of disaster, the difference between survival and truly enjoying food comes down to one thing that most people overlook? Spices. Yes, salt, pepper, paprika, and a few amazing additions can become your secret weapon in an emergency. Stay with us, because today we will review the 25 best survival spices you should stock up on before panic buying empties the store shelves again. Hello everyone, glad to see you again. I was studying what truly prepared people, survivalists, and savvy shoppers add to their food supplies for emergencies. And believe me, it's not just water and canned beans. Most of us think first about calories in a crisis. But here is the truth. Without taste, nutrients, and even natural means, your morality can collapse faster than your pantry empties. In this video, I will show you 25 essential spices that every smart prepared person keeps in stock. Not only for taste, but also for health, food storage, and even medicine. Some of these spices may surprise you, and yes, some have already faced shortages or rising prices recently. By the end of this video, you will know which spices to stock for emergencies and why each can be a true lifesaver. Before moving on to the list, write in the comments if you've noticed a shortage of spices or a sharp rise in prices at your local store recently. I'm curious where it has become harder to find something. Let's compile this list together. The first spice is salt, a basic element for survival. Living without salt is impossible. It is not just for sprinkling on French fries, it is one of the most powerful tools in extreme situations. Think of it as the most important element of your supplies. Salt enhances flavor, preserves food, and maintains balance in the body. In a crisis situation, when fresh produce becomes scarce, salt becomes even more valuable. Your body needs salt for normal functioning. It helps regulate fluids and supports the work of muscles and nerves. Without enough salt, you will start to feel weakness, dizziness, or even worse. That's why having a supply of salt can literally save your life. But besides health, salt is a lifesaver for food. Long before the advent of refrigerators, people used salt to preserve meat and fish, drawing out moisture, slowing decay, and keeping food edible for weeks or even months. Whether it's preparing dried meat, pickling vegetables, or seasoning a pot of beans, salt transforms simple ingredients into something valuable. It also works wonders in soups and stews. A pinch can reveal the depth and richness of even the blandest canned goods. And here's the best news. Salt doesn't spoil. If stored in a cool and dry place, it will be good for consumption forever. No expiration date. This is undoubtedly a plus for any emergency supply kit. So, if you start stocking your spice supply today, first buy a large bag of salt, iodized sea salt, kosher. Anything will do. Just make sure you have enough to survive the worst-case scenario. The second spice is black pepper. If salt is the king of survival spices, black pepper is the prince. It's not just a way to add some heat to your dish. This tiny spice brings great benefits in tough times. Black pepper enhances flavor like nothing else. A pinch can turn a dull plate of rice or canned beans into something truly enjoyable. And when you're surviving on rations, taste matters immensely. But what most people do not realize is that black pepper also has real health benefits. It contains a compound called piperine, which helps your body absorb nutrients better. This means that when you combine it with products like turmeric or iron-rich legumes, you get more from every bite. It also has mild antimicrobial properties. Although it won't replace medicine, it can help slow down the spoilage of certain foods, especially when combined with salt for preservation or seasoning. Like salt, black pepper stores well. Whole peppercorns can last for years if kept in a dry, airtight place. Grind them as needed for maximum freshness, or buy pre-ground in small quantities for convenience. In general, black pepper is not just a seasoning. It is a flavor enhancer, a nutrient booster, and an essential product in the pantry. Don't forget about it when preparing your spice stock for emergencies. Third is garlic powder. Garlic powder may not look impressive, but it's a real flavor bomb hidden in plain sight. It adds a serious flavor even to the simplest survival dishes, eliminating the need to peel fresh cloves. In an emergency, fresh garlic does not last long. It quickly sprouts, molds, or dries out. Garlic powder, on the other hand, can be stored for years with proper storage. This makes it an ideal choice for the pantry when a rich flavor is needed without extra hassle. It is also incredibly versatile. A pinch can turn canned tomatoes into something resembling homemade pasta sauce. Add it to beans, rice, soups, or stews, and your dish will become a true delight rather than just an emergency option. The fourth is onion powder. If you eat canned beans or rice every day, onion powder can become your new best friend. It adds depth, richness, and that unique savory flavor that makes food less like survival fuel and more like a complete meal. Fresh onions do not keep well. They rot quickly, sprout, or come to an end. But onion powder can last for years if stored properly. No refrigerator needed, no cutting required. Just shake, mix, and eat. It is also incredibly versatile. Use it in soups, stews, to season meat, or in scrambled eggs if you have a supply of powdered eggs. A little powder goes a long way, allowing one small bottle to last for dozens of meals. And here's what most people forget. Onion powder contains antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties. In times of crisis when fresh produce is scarce, every drop of nutrients is important. Moreover, it can support heart health and digestion over time. Unlike fresh onions, onion powder won't make you cry, neither literally nor figuratively. It's stable, lightweight, and easy to store in large quantities. Perfect for those who want to add flavor without the hassle. Before stocking up on exotic spices, remember one thing. Onion powder is a quiet hero that transforms boring food into something amazing. In survival situations, such magic is invaluable. Paprika, a bright secret of survival. Paprika may look like just beautiful red powder, but don't be fooled. This spice adds flavor and color to your emergency meals. And believe me, it matters when you have to eat from cans. There are several types, sweet, smoked, and hot, so you can choose the one that suits your preferences best. Sweet paprika adds a soft, earthy tone to dishes. Smoked paprika gives food a rich flavor reminiscent of a campfire. If you enjoy a bit of heat, choose the spicy version. In survival cooking, paprika can be a true lifesaver. A pinch of smoked paprika in soup or a bean dish can make it seem like it was prepared in a real kitchen rather than on a camping stove. It pairs especially well with tomato-based dishes, meat, and even scrambled eggs if you have powdered eggs. And here's another plus. Paprika contains antioxidants. Of course, not in the same quantity as fresh peppers, but every drop is useful when you are relying on supplies. It doesn't last forever, but if kept in an airtight container and in a dark place, it will be good for up to 3 years. Just don't store it near the stove. Heat significantly reduces its shelf life. So, if you're gathering spice supplies for survival, don't forget about paprika. Whether it's flavor, color, or smoky richness, it makes emergency dishes a bit more familiar. Cayenne or chili powder. When life becomes cold, boring, or monotonous due to a constant diet of the same canned goods, cayenne or chili powder is your secret weapon. They add spice, flavor, and even some survival benefits that most people don't think about. A little can enliven any dish: beans, rice, soups, stews, name anything. Suddenly, your bland dish becomes more interesting. And when morale drops in tough times, something simple like spicy food can lift spirits. But here's an interesting point. Cayenne pepper contains capsaicin, a substance that gives it heat. This component is not just for flavor. It can help with circulation, digestion, and even pain relief in small doses. Some prepared individuals even keep cayenne pepper for emergency medical aid. Yes, indeed. Chili powder, which often combines cayenne pepper with other spices like garlic and cumin, gives you even more flavor in one go. It's great for making chili, tacos, or adding spiciness to tomato-based dishes. Both spices store well if kept dry and airtight. Whole dried peppers can be ground later, but ground versions are more convenient for long-term storage. And don't forget that a little spice can significantly change the situation in survival conditions when food variety is limited. A bit of seasoning can make your meal much more interesting. Moreover, on a cold night, nothing warms you like a bowl of spicy stew. So, if you are gathering spice supplies for emergencies, don't miss the chance to add some heat. Cayenne pepper or paprika can be the very spark your kitchen is missing. 7. Cumin. At first glance, cumin may seem unremarkable, a small brown seed, but it is one of those spices that can completely change the flavor of a dish with just a pinch. It has a warm, earthy taste that cannot be replaced. You will find it in dishes such as chili and tacos, as well as in soups and rice recipes. In survival conditions where food can quickly become monotonous, cumin adds depth and richness without requiring fresh ingredients. And here's another plus. Cumin is not only tasty but also aids digestion, which is very helpful when you eat a lot of legumes, grains, and canned foods. Less bloating and more energy. Sounds good, right? It also pairs well with other spices like chili, garlic, and paprika. This makes it an excellent base for homemade spice mixes or emergency seasonings for dishes. 8. Oregano. Oregano may remind you of pizza night, but don't let that deceive you. This herb is a serious player in the survival world. It has a strong, earthy taste that can turn even the blandest canned dish with tomatoes or beans into something rich and satisfying. A small pinch makes a big difference, making it perfect for extending dishes when fresh herbs are unavailable. Many forget that dried oregano retains its properties for many years if stored properly in a cool, dark, and airtight container. Unlike fresh herbs, it does not spoil or wilt. Keep it in your pantry and use it when the food becomes too monotonous. It also pairs wonderfully with other spices like garlic powder, basil, and black pepper. Together, they create that classic rich flavor that makes dishes feel homemade, even if they are from cans. And here's another bonus that many overlook. Oregano is not just for flavor. It contains antioxidants and has natural antibacterial properties. In survival conditions, where hygiene and nutrition are paramount, every support is important. Use it in stews, sauces, rice dishes, or sprinkle it on canned vegetables to avoid a canned taste. Whether you're on a camping stove or by the fire, oregano adds flavor and does the job well. So, if you're gathering your spice supplies for an emergency, don't forget about oregano. This is a bold, rich spice that transforms survival dishes into something you truly look forward to. 9. Ceres. Ceres may not attract attention like chili or cumin, but do not let its humble nature deceive you. This grass is a real find in survival supplies. It has a soft, earthy taste with a hint of mint that is perfect for adding depth to soups, stews, roasted meat, and even potatoes. If you have dried potatoes, the grass also pairs well with other spices. It combines beautifully with garlic, rosemary, and black pepper. Together, they can transform a simple dish into something rich and soothing, which holds more significance than one might think when living on food supplies. But this is what most people do not realize. Thyme has a long history of medical use. Ancient Egyptians used it in embalming, and the Greeks once burned it as incense. However, more importantly for survival, this plant has natural antiseptic and antioxidant properties. Dried thyme keeps well for years if stored in a dry, airtight place. Crush it between your fingers before adding to dishes to enhance the flavor. A small trick that can significantly change a dish when every spice matters. Use thyme in meat mixtures, sauces, or even in tea. Yes, thyme tea is a reality. In difficult times, a hot cup of broth with thyme can work wonders for both body and soul. Therefore, if you are going to create a spice reserve for emergencies, don't forget to make space for thyme on the shelf. It may be inconspicuous, but it is one of those spices that quietly makes everything better. Basil is a fresh and aromatic product that remains relevant forever. When you think of basil, fresh pesto and summer tomatoes likely come to mind. But dried basil is a completely different hero, especially when it comes to preparing for emergencies. Dried basil remarkably retains its flavor. Unlike fresh leaves that quickly wilt and spoil, dried basil can be stored for years with proper storage. Just keep it in an airtight container in a cool place away from direct sunlight, and you'll always have the taste of summer at hand. It adds a sweet, spicy flavor that refreshes canned tomatoes, pasta if you have it, rice dishes, and even powdered egg omelets. In survival cooking, where everything can start to seem the same, basil is like a breath of fresh air. It pairs especially well with oregano, garlic, and olive oil if you have any long-lasting oil. Together, they create a classic Italian flavor that makes the food cozy, even if you are cooking on a camping stove. Therefore, if you are creating your spice stockpile for emergencies, do not overlook basil. It can be dried, but still brings freshness. It is worth its weight in gold when times get tough. Rosemary is a strong survivor with a rich flavor. Rosemary is not for the faint-hearted. It is bold, aromatic, and has a sharp taste that can turn even the simplest survival into something memorable. A small amount of this plant can significantly change a dish. Too much and your dish will resemble forest underbrush. But if done right, you'll get a delicious accent that pairs perfectly with fried potatoes. In a crisis, fresh herbs become a luxury if you have dried potatoes, meat, soups, and stews. But dried rosemary lasts for years with proper storage. Just keep it in an airtight container in a dry place, and you'll always have this rich aroma at hand. Rosemary also has a secret superpower: antioxidants. It not only helps preserve oneself, but can also support your health by fighting free radicals when fresh produce is running low. Sage is an earthy spice that continues to delight. Sage has a deep, slightly peppery flavor with hints of mint and lemon. This is not the brightest, but a very resilient spice, making it an excellent choice for your emergency supply. It is perfect for hearty dishes like stuffing. If you have grains or bread, roasted meat, bean stew, or even potatoes, whether fresh, canned, or dried, a pinch of sage will turn even the blandest dish into a warm and cozy treat. Unlike fresh herbs that spoil quickly, dried sage can last for years if stored properly. Keep it tightly sealed, away from heat and light, and you'll always have this earthy flavor on hand when you need it most. This is what many do not think about. Sage has natural antimicrobial properties. Long before the invention of refrigerators, it was used to preserve fats and meats. In survival conditions, such a trick can be quite useful. It also pairs well with other spices like rosemary, thyme, and garlic. Together, they create layered aromas that make your dishes more meaningful, not just edible. If you are cooking over a fire or using a portable stove, try adding some sage to your next bean or rice stew. You may be surprised at how much it enhances the dish. So, if you are gathering your spice stash for emergencies, don't forget about sage. It may not attract attention, but quietly earns its place among the essentials for survival. Cinnamon, a sweet spice for survival that you didn't expect to see. Cinnamon may seem like a spice only for desserts, but don't be fooled. It finds a place in both sweet and savory dishes, making it a wise choice for your pantry. Cinnamon adds warmth, depth, and just the right amount of sweetness that dishes need. In survival conditions, when everything starts to taste the same, cinnamon can become that pleasant surprise you didn't know you needed. Besides its flavor, cinnamon has real benefits. It can help regulate blood sugar levels, which is especially useful if you rely on stored carbohydrates or sweet reserves. Although it won't replace medication, any support is important when access to medicine is limited. Cinnamon also has antimicrobial properties and was once used as a natural preservative. A pinch in stews or meat dishes can slow spoilage. This is especially useful if you need to stretch your food supplies. And don't forget that it lifts your spirits. In difficult times, a hot drink made from powdered milk, hot water, and a pinch of cinnamon can be a true comfort. It won't replace your morning latte, but it will remind you of better days. And that matters more than you think. Ground cinnamon keeps well for many years if stored in a dry, tightly sealed container. Just keep it away from heat and moisture to stay fresh. So, if you are gathering your spice supply for emergencies, don't forget the cinnamon. This is not just a festive spice. It is one of those hidden survivors that brings flavor, benefits, and a bit of joy to life outside of civilization. Nutmeg, a warm spice that exceeds expectations. Nutmeg may look like just another bottle on the shelf, but this small spice can significantly change the taste of dishes, especially when you have a limited number of ingredients. It has a warm, nutty flavor with a hint of sweetness. A small amount of nutmeg can radically transform both sweet and savory dishes, making it ideal for diversifying the menu and lifting spirits when everything starts to seem monotonous. In survival conditions, nutmeg is perfect for creamy sauces. If you have powdered milk or cheese, rice dishes, and even soups, they pair wonderfully with cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper. So, if you are making your own spice blends, nutmeg would be a great addition. But here is what many don't know. Historically, nutmeg was used not only for flavor, but also believed to aid digestion and even help with insomnia. It's not medicine, but every drop of comfort is important when you're in a difficult situation. Clove is a small spice with a significant role in survival. It may look like tiny brown nails, but has one of the strongest flavors among spices. One clove can flavor an entire pot of stew or rice, so it should not be overused. She has a rich, warm, almost sweet but spicy taste that pairs well with both desserts and main dishes. In survival conditions where variety is limited, cloves bring something unique. And here is a secret that not everyone knows. Clove was once used as a natural painkiller in dentistry. Yes, that's right. Crushed clove mixed with a small amount of oil can temporarily relieve toothache. Of course, it's not a substitute for a dentist, but it can help in an emergency. In addition to its taste and medicinal properties, cloves also have antibacterial properties. In the past, they were used for preserving food. A few whole cloves placed in a bag of grain or dried fruits can help protect them from pests. A clever method for long-term storage. Ginger is a spicy spice that helps in difficult situations. Ginger is not just for stews or gingerbread. It is a powerful spice that is truly useful in survival conditions. It adds a sharp, spicy flavor that quickly refreshes bland dishes. Whether it's rice, beans, soups, or even restored vegetables, a bit of dried ginger significantly livens up the food. But here's what many don't know. Ginger does more than just add flavor. For centuries, it has been used to improve digestion, relieve nausea, and reduce inflammation. If you have a stomach ache from eating stored food or stress, a cup of warm ginger tea might be just what you need. In survival conditions when medical resources may be limited, the natural properties of ginger make it not only a spice, but also a helper in maintaining health. Ground ginger can be stored for many years if kept in an airtight container in a dry place. Whole dried ginger root lasts even longer and can be grated as needed. It's great if you have a small grater or microplane in your set. If you enjoy making your own remedies, ginger can be mixed with honey, if you have it, or with lemon powder, creating a soothing drink that helps with cold symptoms or a sore throat. Therefore, if you are forming your collection of emergency spices, don't forget about ginger. It is spicy, healthy, and one of those seasonings that helps when times get tough. Mustard. This tiny spice has incredible power. Mustard seeds may be small, but they add a rich flavor to dishes and serve important functions in your emergency spice collection. They have a sharp, spicy taste when cooked, especially if soaked or ground into a paste. A small amount of seeds significantly increases the volume of dishes, making them ideal for stretching portions and adding depth without the need for fresh products. In survival conditions, mustard seeds are especially useful for preserving, fermenting, and seasoning. They are the main ingredient in homemade mustards, spice mixes, and even in marinades for meat. If you are trying to preserve vegetables or add flavor to canned beans and rice, mustard seeds will be a great helper. And here is what many do not take into account. Mustard has natural antibacterial properties. In the past, it was used to preserve food before the advent of refrigerators. In a post-apocalyptic setting, such a trick could prove quite effective. Whole mustard seeds can be stored for years if kept properly. Just keep them in a sealed, dry place. Grind them as needed for maximum flavor, or use them whole in stews, sauces, or brines. They also pair well with other staple ingredients like garlic, turmeric, and cumin. Therefore, if you are assembling your emergency spice kits, mustard seeds deserve a place in them. So if you are forming your survival spice collection, don't overlook mustard seeds. They may look small, but they bring serious flavor and functionality to the table. Coriander. This citrusy spice works tirelessly. Coriander may not get as much attention as cumin or paprika, but don't be fooled. This spice is a quiet worker in any emergency pantry. It has a light, citrusy, almost floral taste that adds brightness to heavy dishes. In survival conditions, when everything can start to taste the same, coriander brings something fresh to the table without the need for refrigeration or fresh produce. It is especially useful in spice mixes such as curry or chili seasonings. Mix it with cumin, garlic, and turmeric, and you have a powerful base for beans, rice, or canned vegetables. And here's another bonus. Many do not know that coriander can aid digestion. If you consume a lot of stored grains or legumes, such stomach support can make your dishes lighter and more digestible. Whole coriander seeds can last for years if stored properly. Just keep them in a sealed and dry place. Grind or crush them as needed for maximum aroma. Ground coriander is also suitable but loses its sharpness faster, so whole seeds are a wiser choice for long-term storage. Turmeric, a golden spice with true power. Turmeric may seem like just another yellow powder, but it is actually one of the most powerful spices you can have in your pantry. It gives dishes a deep golden color and a warm, earthy flavor. A little turmeric significantly enhances the flavor, especially in rice, soups, or canned beans. In survival conditions where food can become monotonous, turmeric adds something rich and unique. But here is what makes turmeric truly special. For centuries, it has been used for its numerous health benefits. It contains curcumin, a compound known for its anti-inflammatory properties. This means that turmeric can support your body in conditions of limited access to medical supplies, which is especially important in a crisis situation. And here's advice from a professional. Turmeric is better absorbed when combined with black pepper. This is because piperine found in black pepper helps the body absorb curcumin more effectively. Therefore, if you are making your own spice blends, always keep them together. A whole turmeric root can be dried and ground at home, but for survival preparation, it is more practical to use ready ground products. Cardamom is a sweet exotic spice worth having in stock. Although cardamom is not used in everyday cooking, this exotic spice is a true find when it comes to flavor, health, and survival value. It has a sweet floral aroma with slight citrus notes and a hint of mint. Unlike most spices, cardamom feels both warm and refreshing, making it ideal for diversifying dishes when everything starts to seem the same. In survival situations, cardamom can be used in both sweet and savory dishes. It is a key ingredient in tea, baking, rice dishes, and even in meat marinades. A little cardamom is enough to add flavor, so a small supply will last you a long time. And here's what many don't know. Cardamom has been used for centuries to improve digestion and freshen breath. In difficult times when oral hygiene may be limited, chewing a few whole pods can help quickly refresh breath. Whole cardamom pods last much longer than ground ones. Store them in an airtight, dry container to preserve their flavor for years. Crush or grind them as needed for maximum effect. If you love to prepare your own spice blends, cardamom pairs excellently with cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, especially in hot drinks or hearty grain dishes. So if you are stocking up on spices for emergencies, don't forget about cardamom. It may be expensive, but its taste, functionality, and versatility are worth every penny. Fenugreek is a bitter spice with sweet survival potential. Fenugreek may seem unfamiliar to you, but this ancient spice is a true find when it comes to flavor, nutritional value, and long-term storage. It has a pronounced bitter taste, but if lightly roasted, it transforms into something rich and sweet, almost like maple syrup or caramel, making it ideal for adding depth to curries, bread, and spice blends in survival conditions. Moreover, fenugreek has been used for centuries due to its beneficial properties. Some studies suggest that it may help regulate blood sugar levels and support digestion. This is especially useful when you rely on food supplies and have limited access to medical care. Fenugreek seeds can be stored for many years if kept in a dry and airtight place. Ground fenugreek is also suitable, but whole seeds last longer and can be roasted or ground as needed for maximum flavor. In many cultures, fenugreek is used in flatbreads, stews, and even tea. If you prepare your own emergency meals, a small amount of fenugreek will give your products a unique richness, setting them apart from ordinary canned goods. And here's another plus. Fenugreek has also been used to support lactation in nursing mothers. So, if you are preparing for the worst scenario for a growing family, this ingredient may prove particularly valuable. If you are gathering your spice supplies for emergencies, don't forget about fenugreek. It may be inconspicuous, but it brings rich flavor and real benefits to the survival table. Now about the spice blend. It is a mysterious seasoning that has a magical taste. The spice blend may seem just like another jar on the shelf, but in reality, it is the only remedy that combines the aromas of cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, making it perfect for survival. It has a warm, sweet, and slightly spicy taste that pairs well with both sweet and savory dishes. A little mix adds a lot of flavor, whether it's rice, beans, stew, or even emergency desserts from pantry supplies. In survival conditions, the spice mix saves space. Instead of carrying 3 separate spices, you can rely on a blend that combines their aromas, making it ideal for compact storage or lightweight camping kits. Additionally, many are unaware that spice blends have natural antibacterial properties. Previously, it was used as a preservative before the advent of refrigerators. In a crisis situation, every help is important for preserving the safety of your dishes. Whole berries of the spice mix can last for many years if stored properly. Keep them in an airtight and dry place. Grind as needed for a fresh aroma. Use it in marinades, soups, sauces, or even hot drinks to add spice to your usual emergency beverages. If you want to bring comfort back to your dishes, a spice blend is one of those subtle enhancements that make food familiar again. And finally, bay leaves are a quiet builder of flavor. They cannot be ignored. Although they look modest, just a few dry greenish-brown leaves, they are among those quiet heroes that make everything tastier without drawing attention. They are not eaten, but when simmered for a long time in soups, stews, or sauces, they add a subtle depth and herbal richness that is hard to replace. In survival cooking, where dishes can quickly become monotonous, bay leaves are a simple way to enhance flavor without much effort. And here is the best part. If stored correctly, they can last for many years. Keep them in a dry and airtight place, and you will always have a supply when you need to prepare something warm and cozy. Unlike fresh herbs that quickly wilt or spoil, bay leaves have a long shelf life and are lightweight. They are perfect for emergency kits or off-grid living. Just place 1 or 2 leaves in a pot with beans or broth and let them release their flavor. Bay leaves pair wonderfully with other spices like garlic, thyme, and black pepper, creating a layered flavor that enhances even the simplest ingredients, making them more expressive rather than just edible. Although they do not cure diseases, bay leaves contain antioxidants and have historically been used to support digestion. Every little thing matters when you rely on food supplies for weeks or months. So if you are gathering an emergency spice kit, don't forget the bay leaves. They may be inconspicuous, but they make survival food delicious, like real food. Star anise is a spice with a hint of licorice and hidden strength. Star anise looks like a tiny brown star, but do not let its shape deceive you. This spice adds a bright flavor and real value for survival to your supply. It has a strong sweet taste, often described as similar to licorice. One fruit can flavor an entire pot of soup, stew, or tea. Therefore, use it sparingly if you don't want an overpowering aroma. In survival cooking, star anise is especially good in slow-cooked dishes, rice recipes, or even hot beverages. This is a key ingredient in many Asian recipes, and it pairs well with cinnamon, cloves, and ginger, making it ideal for creating complex flavors from simple ingredients. But what most people do not realize is that star anise has antiviral properties. It is used in the production of some antiviral drugs and has been valued in herbal medicine for centuries. Again, this is not a cure, but any support is important when access to medicine is limited. Whole star anise fruits can be stored for years if kept in airtight and dry packaging. Unlike ground spices, they retain their potency longer. Just lightly crush one fruit before adding it to food or tea for maximum flavor. And here's another tip. Star anise is perfect for homemade spice blends or soothing teas, especially when combined with cloves, cinnamon, and honey if you have supplies. So if you're assembling your emergency spice kit, don't forget star anise. Although it may seem unusual, it is one of those subtle spices that brings flavor, warmth, and functionality to life off the grid. Curry is the perfect workaround for rich taste in survival conditions. Curry is not just one spice, but a powerful blend of several spices such as turmeric, cumin, coriander, fenugreek, and chili. This makes it one of the most convenient flavor enhancers that can be in your emergency supply. Instead of carrying 5 or 6 separate bottles, curry powder gives you a full flavor boost in one move. It adds warmth, depth, and complexity to rice, beans, canned vegetables, meat, and pretty much anything on hand. Since the blend usually contains turmeric and other anti-inflammatory spices, such a seasoning can provide certain support for your health. It's not a medicine, but every little bit matters when you rely on food supplies for weeks or months. Curry stores well if kept in airtight and dry packaging. It doesn't spoil quickly, and since it's used in small amounts, one bottle can last for dozens of meals. There are many types of curry, from mild to spicy, from sweet to savory. Choose what best suits your preferences. Indian, Thai, or even Japanese curry blends give dishes a unique flavor. In survival conditions when time, fuel, and ingredients are limited, curry powder becomes a true find. He can turn boring dishes into something extraordinary with just one spoon. So, if you're gathering your spice supplies for emergencies, don't forget the curry powder. It's not just a seasoning, but a true key to rich flavor in tough times. So, here is a list of 25 best spices to stock up for survival. Whether you're preparing for emergencies or just want to make your preserves tastier, these spices will be your secret weapon. Don't wait for store shelves to empty and prices to rise. Start building your spice reserves today. A little seasoning can significantly change the taste. And believe me, your future self will thank you when dinner is truly delicious.